Hello, I'm the 10-minute English teacher. Let's get you exam ready. Today, I'm going to teach you how to use a semicolon. Before we get going, don't forget to like and subscribe. There are plenty of things on the channel to make you a better writer. Okay, how to use a semicolon. We're going to start by thinking about compound sentences. That's our way into becoming semicolon experts. So what is a compound sentence? Compound sentence has an independent clause. Here's an example of one. Lauren had a plate of salad. And we then have another independent clause. And here's an example of that to finish this compound sentence. Lauren had a plate of salad and Eva chose fruit. Eva chose fruit is also an independent clause because on its own it makes sense. In the middle, what we have is something called a conjunction and we have a comma. Now, it's that part of the sentence that we want to focus on because what we can do is exchange that for a semicolon. Now we've got Lauren had a plate of salad. Eva chose fruit. On their own, they could be sentences in their own right, but because they're linked by theme or idea, I'm going to use a semicolon to show that they do have a strong relationship. So both sides need to make sense on their own. So if you're using a semicolon in a sentence, do both sides of the semicolon work on their own? Are they independent clauses? Another reason people use semicolons is for lists. This is less commonly seen, but it is something that is very, very useful to you. So here's a list, and at the moment it doesn't have any semicolons, and there are a few problems with this list because there is some ambiguity in it. I took a number of books on holiday: East of Eden, Romeo and Juliet, BFG, one of my favourites, and Pride and Prejudice. Now, if you don't hear the tone and you haven't heard that spoken to you, there is a little bit of ambiguity. There are a few things in here that might not be clear to you. Firstly, what I mean is the BFG, one of my favourites. But if you were reading that without that expression, you might read that as the BFG, one of my favourites, and Pride and Prejudice, as if one of my favourites is a part of that list and I just haven't chose to name the title. Another problem with this list is I'm taking a title called Pride and Prejudice. Now, if you know that Pride and Prejudice is a novel, then you would know that that means that I'm taking Pride and Prejudice one item. But if you didn't know that, you might think I'm taking a book called Pride and a book called Prejudice. So this list does cause a little bit of challenge. It's grammatically correct the way that it's formatted with that punctuation, but with semicolons, it would clear up that ambiguity. So now we have, I took a number of books on holiday: East of Eden, Romeo and Juliet, BFG, one of my favourites, and Pride and Prejudice. And it is correct to have a semicolon and then and afterwards, formatted that way. That's known as the Oxford semicolon. So that's a list using semicolons to reduce and clear up any ambiguity. Here's a practice task for you to get you using semicolons. Harry is going shopping. Write about Harry and what he plans to buy. 2 ways to use semicolons in this practice task. Use semicolons to separate independent clauses that have a strong link, and also separate items in a list with semicolons. You can pause here and attempt this practice task, and if you need the examples of how to use a semicolon to create a list or how to use a semicolon to link to independent clauses, feel free to use the play bar to go back to look at those model responses. Okay, check out the other videos on my channel. I'll continue to add content. Feel free to ask something you'd like to see me cover in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share, and keep revising.